Winter, they tended to get about 600 extra gold between the 14 and the 25-minute mark. In spring, they've got about 2,400 extra gold between the 14 and 25-minute mark. They haven't been in as commanding a position through the early game as usual, but they get ahead and then they snowball a huge amount over about the next 10 minutes of the game. So right now they're 4,000 gold ahead. That's a pretty sizable chunk. We'll see how much they can extend it.
And I think you can definitely see these same thought processes that we got on G2 now coming to Fnatic, which was, you know, Caps is going to be in a side lane when we fall behind and we're going to give a ton of resources to him. If you look at like Vitality game 1, Humanoid after they fell behind on Aurelion Sol just existed in a side lane for the majority of that mid game to get him resources, and then later on he blows up Karzi in a team fight, right? And it's a lot of these similar stories that we're seeing as Fnatic learning to play sides.
Awesome pull back with the shockwave. Gravity well on Humanoid will stun him up, knock back on Mickey, but Fnatic, like, you can poke and you can prod and you can look for these little bits of damage, but they kind of knew they were never getting a kill there. All they really want is the tower and continue to extend that gold lead.
And it's, again, it's kind of understanding how to use that pressure is what has been the big factor for Fnatic. It's still not perfect, but it's only been a couple of weeks. And I think but you can see the changes in the shift in mindset that make me excited for Fnatic to see that we might have them as like another team that can commit to a title.
I've played it out in my brain. 14 million possibilities, and only one to Fnatic not go 0-3 in the finals, okay? It's just the most Fnatic thing to do. Give us all a huge amount of hope. You're like, oh yeah, we're going to play really well this time. They're going to challenge. No, 0-3. Maybe 1-3. Maybe they take it again. We'll see.
Yeah, I think
I agree with, sorry, just quickly, I 100% agree with you. There's a huge amount of hope for Fnatic, and because it's not just we will hands dip our opponents, which is what Fnatic have relied on so many times over the year. Like, look, this is 3-2. They're out-moving Rogue on the map. And Rogue, their early games have been impressive, so being able to do that through the early game into the mid game is a very solid sign for Fnatic. Chain of Corruption again. I don't even think it's an ultimate, guys. I think it's just a bait. I think Varus is patched and balanced around his 3 abilities, and they assume all chains of corruption will miss.
The problem is, it's like, as a player, when you listen to the darken inside you, that's when it goes wide. When you go with the humanity side.
The voices.
But no, I think, like, I want to go back to a point that you hit on, which is like, it always felt like Fnatic, even when they were at their best, was, hey, we're going to outplay you in a team fight. It was that hand stiff. Yeah. But what I really like about watching this Fnatic now is you can see the growth on how they want to operate on the map. And how, like, thinking ahead of time is, when do I need to reset to catch this side wave? When do I need to set this up? And that's the part that makes me really excited for them, because it's not just a, hey, we're going to rely on this thing. It's, no, we're going to set up the game in a way that will always benefit us. But even in the times where we stumble, we still have the hands to rely on. Like, these are still incredibly good players. I think that's what's going to turn Fnatic into just an absolute machine as this year goes on.
Yeah, totally agree with you. We'll see if Fnatic can keep the form going. For now, they're focusing on this best of 3. 5,000 gold ahead of Rogue. They stopped the dragon stacking, which Rogue was probably their only real way to victory. Early game has not gone in Rogue's favor at all, and I'm trying to look for, like, how do you get back into this? You do have good scaling on hit. Varus, very powerful later on. Larson as well on the Victor will put out a huge amount of DPS. The problem is, your tanks aren't as tanky, and your catch isn't as catchy as Fnatic.
I think at this stage, if I'm Rogue, I'm like, right, we have 2 dragons. What do we need to address in the map? Like, until Baron spawns, kind of nothing. Like, everything else can kind of just sit there and do its own thing, right? So if I'm going to be Rogue, it's, I just want to try and catch these waves, make sure that we're in a position to cover in case Fnatic overload, and that's kind of what you see at the moment, is Execute trying to get that vision to spot out how Fnatic are moving through their jungle. But unfortunately, you can see once you start to lose control of these parts of the jungle, this becomes impossible to match both sides. And with those 6 Void Grubs, Fnatic just takes these turrets the second you're not.
Yeah, that's the main risk, really, isn't it? 6 Void Grubs, if you're not there for 10 seconds, your tower is gone. You can see Upset and Razork playing around the mid lane as Unstoppable Onslaught comes out onto Larson. There's the Grand Starfall as well. Oscar Winner has tanked this tower for an absolute ice. He's still just tanking it. What is Sion, man?
This is
why he smacks the tower for half its health. He's a lumberjack. He's not a mason.
This is why it's been everywhere in the LPL. This pick is so dumb. Yeah, I mean, look, just saw on things. It works out great. Man is going to wander in again, get another demolish proc, and Adam is about to be the next victim of the Fnatic playing on towards sides.
That Roar of the Slayer already got him 977 stacks, 4,200 health on the Scion right now, and really there's only physical damage that can try and hurt him right now, and it's not really doing enough to get through him. Adam is at 2 items. Black Cleaver was his first pick, knowing that the armor stacking can come out from the Scion. We saw the tower not quite falling in the bot side, but all 3 of those tier 2s about half HP across the map. Next neutral objective, 2.5 minutes away. It will be an Infernal Drake, but as you say, very likely that Fnatic will push up the lanes, take that for free, and Rogue will just be left catching these waves.
Yeah, and kind of back to your point, like for Rogue, they kind of wanted to be able to play for, hey, we get on the objective first, we're able to contest using range, but at this stage you're barely holding on to your structures, and anywhere that has an objective just becomes way too difficult to access. So with Atakan up and available, it feels like Fnatic just end up moving over towards that. They're then going to be able to start wailing through mid lane towers, especially as we already saw what Oscar Ringen can do solo to a tower if left to his devices. Doesn't really have to worry about taking damage either. So Fnatic, this is kind of, if you're a Fnatic fan, well, you want to see this slow and steady gameplay that's going to close the game out for them.
Clear out mid, move through the jungle towards the bottom side, play with the fact that you are in Fog of War. Adam will be able to clear out this wave before Oscar Ringen can get close enough. Upset goes back towards the mid lane to make sure that wave is constantly shoved in, but you can see, like, where with Fnatic? Well, we saw Razzle because he stepped into vision. Mickey was able to sneak his way around that corner, and now they'll play through this mid wave. There's a blast cone there for Mickey if he wants to get here a little bit quicker, but fair play to Rogue. They've managed to survive at least the last couple of waves without losing too much health on these towers.
Yeah, I think, again, this is kind of the only way I feel like Rogue get back into it is, hey, just hope we can hold on to these structures and play for 3-4 items, but yeah.
It's a curse.
I know. But there's nothing else you can do, right? It's like, you're just slowly losing out the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really well synced from Fnatic as well, because they go into Fog. Larson steps back from Humanoid because he's like, I don't know where they are. They could be coming through topside jungle, and then you see 3 people just appear in the bot lane when the wave crashes. It's like, okay, well, we can't defend this. You lose top tier 2 and bot tier 2, and Fnatic extend that gold lead to about 7,000. So between the 15-14 minute mark and the 23 minute mark or so, they've garnered an extra 2,000 gold on the map over Rogue. Good stuff overall from Fnatic. Now we'll see if they can dot their I's and cross their T's and close this one out.
Yeah, for Fnatic is just establish vision once more in these jungle camps and make sure that you're fine to continue pressing on. The bottom tower gone. I wasn't sure if they're going to swap the, maybe they are, I was going to say swap the Orianna down to take that bottom side of the map, because she can then push and group mid. But with 15 seconds now until Dragon, looks like there might be the big engage in mid.
I don't even know. Like, if you're Fnatic, you kind of want to fight because you should win it. You're just that much stronger. But Rogue are all on 2 items. So in terms of actual direct itemization, there's only a small amount between the 2 teams right now.
Yeah, and I think the fact that you're giving Rogue access to a potential trade kind of helps, because now Rogue are on the objective first, which is exactly where they want it to be. So as long as they can get some poke down, you're in a decent spot. Mickey just needs to be careful of any of these accelerate shock blasts taking his health bar down.
Yeah, you can see Razok actually leaving the Dragon. Grand Starfall is available to him. That Pantheon ultimate. Oscar Ringen is just going to walk straight in. Unstoppable onslaught. They get the damage. Look at how low Execute already is with the Grand Starfall there to follow up. Mickey dives in with a Magnet Storm. Marang falling low. The Otacon secured by Razok. He gets the smite. Mickey pays for it with his life, but Patrick follows suit. Upset's flashing forward, and Marang is going timber. The tree has been felled, and the petals their prize.
Yeah, Adam managed to sneak a few away, but at the end of the day, it's still Fnatic coming out on top, and now they just reset and go for that Dragon off the back of it as well. So Mickey sitting off to the side here. As you get this engage coming through from Oscar Ringen, it works out perfectly because Humanoid's in position then to follow straight away with the shockwave. So everyone on Rogue ends up getting, well, 2 members on Rogue get caught out there. Razak then able to follow through. Mickey engaging as well to set up on that back line. As you say, he ends up giving his life, but sets up perfectly for Patrick to then follow. And Adam is just doing his best to hit off the side, but you can see the damage he's doing to Oscar Ringen. Like, it's absolutely nothing.
Negligible at best as Fnatic now get the Atakan. Alongside the pedals, you do get a buff to all the neutrals you've taken in the game, which will only help, or the big neutrals at least, only help them with the Void Grub push. As Razork dives in, like Oscar tanked that tower for just an age. There's nothing you can do, man.
The thing is, he's at half HP, which means you've only got 3,000 more to go. It's so ridiculous.
I think that's just Baron for Fnatic.
Yeah.
Void Grubs and Oscar in his tankiness, allowing them to bait Patrick into a state of unawares, we'll call it, as they see Rogue TPing down towards that bottom side to try and get themselves onto Soul Point. They're 10,000 gold in the hole, and I don't even think a soul would save you from that sort of death. Razork and Upset should be able to secure the Baron. Oscar and Mickey and Humanoid should be able to keep Malrang, Adam, and Larson away from the Drake. Malrang goes in, knocked up with the Decimating Smash. There's Mickey with the Magnet Storm on the backline, finds two, but the rest of his team unable to follow. Grand Starfall in by Razork because he looks for a little bit more of a chase. Execute, won't go in, and Malrang will die. So yeah, Fnatic get it all.
Oscar came out with more health than he went into that fight with.
Yeah, tanks, man.
Unending despair is the thing, you know? But yeah, I think at this stage, like, I appreciate what Rogue are trying to do. It's just anything we can get access to in the map, try something, throw stuff at the wall and see if it works. But unfortunately, at this stage, you're just too far behind. Like a 12k gold lead for Fnatic. They can continue to do whatever the hell they want. And as they go towards the base, with Baron, it's just nothing Rogue can really do here.
The thing is, with throwing stuff at the wall,
I didn't want to say it.
And seeing it helps, works for pasta. But that bit of pasta you can't then eat. And it feels like everything that Rogue have thrown at the wall is now inedible.
Why can't you eat? What's wrong?
Because it's been on my wall, man.
My walls are clean.
When did you like? Okay, firstly we have to get rid of Legend. Scarce is coming in. Cleaned your walls yesterday. Yeah. Oscar Rinnin still very tanky here as the engage happens in a 4v3. Larson here to make it a 5v3. Razork's here to try and even out the score. Meanwhile, Humanoid continues to push in. 5v4. Rogue are on the back foot. Razork won't fall. Fnatic will get a kill, and Humanoid very happily will accept all of these himself. Shockwave goes down onto Malrang. He gets another one. There's nowhere to go. You're stuck between a ball and a hard place, and your only choice is death. Mickey the only one for Fnatic to fall. 15 kills to 4 and 16,000 gold ahead. Fnatic will clean out game one.
Fnatic making it look easy, to be honest. Great rotations in the early game, playing well around Upset. And then Oscar Rinnin, the biggest beefcake that ever existed at the end of this one.
Would you throw a beefcake at the wall to see if it sticks?
Only it was cooked.
Oh, okay. You can't eat him, man. My cats would be on that like a cat.
I don't have animals.
Oh, okay, well.
Yeah, apart from myself. Why'd you go that way?
You want to find Rob that way? Nights out Saturdays. Anyway, we'll see how the next game goes. I can see Law standing by. Our auto queue is broken. I haven't been told to hand it over, but I am going to anyway. Law, take it away.
Yeah, there's not much to say about this game. Upset, anything you could criticize about your absolute fantastic gameplay here?
Maybe we could have ended 1 minute earlier. I'm not sure, but it was fine.
Usually we see games slow down the pace of the game, or the pace of the game slowing down when they play against Rogue. Any indication as to why you kept on going?
I mean, we have a dinner reservation, but probably we're going to stroll, so we're going to miss it. But yeah, let's hope we make it.
Yeah, content is coming. Thank you so much, Upset. That's all for us now. We're going to be back in a few minutes with game number 2. Stay tuned.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. Red Bull gives you wings.
Sweet 何をしてても daydreaming yeah 君